On this AVNation special, we sit down with author and also home tech rep Catherine Wheeler about her new book, There Is No Cloud. All that and more next on this AVNation special.
The network for the AV industry.
What are you listening to?
This
is AV.
This
is AVNation.
This is AVNation.
This is an AVNation special, one-on-one with Cat Wheeler. This is an AVNation special. My name is Tim Albright, your host. This is special because I wanted to talk to Cat Wheeler. We're talking with Cat Wheeler. Welcome, ma'am.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Cat is in the AV industry. Currently, she works for
Snap AV.
Snap AV. Good Lord. I just snapped. Snap AV. I knew this because we were talking earlier before we started recording. She's worked at a number of places. But that's not why we're talking to her. If you want to talk to her about Snap AV or Control 4 or anything like that, you can email her. But she wrote a book, and it's not a nonfiction book. It does have something to do with AV. But it's a fictional book surrounding and kind of using your history in the control and automation space, talking about these ubiquitous, wonderful speakers that we have in our system, in our houses. So talk for a second about, the book is called There Is No Cloud. Real briefly, first of all, how did you, what was the first spark of this book?
I do outside sales, so I travel a lot. And all of the road warriors out there understand that when you're traveling a lot and you're by yourself, you get bored. So when I was working for Sapphire Marketing, and I was doing that, I was looking for a hobby that I could take on the road with me, that I could do from anywhere. There was a brief period of time where I tried to learn how to knit. So I'm sorry to all the women that got some really horrible baby blankets that year. It didn't go well. I'm a big reader.
Well, knitting is not exactly easy. It's not, don't sell yourself short. That is not an easy hobby.
But I figured I could take it with me, right, wherever I go, and it would keep me occupied. There's only so many hotel bars and so much you can watch on TV. And I'm a big reader. I've been a huge reader my whole life, and I'm a very fast reader. And I was reading in, tons of books. And finally I was like, I'll write a book. And I think I said it as a lark. And I was talking to one of my customers about it. He's like, what are you going to write about? And he's like, you have to write what you know. And I was like, this is all that I know. So I'll write about the AV industry. And the more I thought about it, the more I thought it would be cool because, like I said, I'm a big reader, and in books, in novels, there's always the mystery novels about, the girl who works at the bakery, or the girl who pet sits, and she solves mysteries, or the girl that runs the flower shop, or the girl, there's always those women, mystery solvers, but there's no women mystery solvers that work in consumer electronics. So I thought it would be fun. And most novels out there don't put in an accurate representation of what you could do with technology, especially home technology, which is what I do. So I thought it would be really interesting, and it would be really interesting to use our technology as both the cause of the murders and the solutions for the murders. And so that's how it works out. And I thought it was fun. And so that's how it happened.
So walk me through sort of, we mentioned the fact that you've been in the industry for a number of years. You've worked for a couple of different manufacturers. Walk me through kind of your journey to get where you are today.
Personally or book-wise?
Well, both, in a stand of how you got to where you are in AV, and then we'll get to the book-wise. Okay.
So I started in this industry completely on a lark. I had gone on monster.com and tried to find a job, and ended up I was bartending at the time, and I was also in college, and it was becoming really challenging to be up for work really early in the morning. Bars in Kentucky are open until 4 a.m. Class starts at 8, so it was a lot. And so I was like, I got to get a better job. And so I ended up being the receptionist of a custom AV shop in Kentucky when I was 21. And that was kind of like my first entry into the industry. And the guy who was our rep, one of our reps at the time, he was our B&W, Runco, Stewart, Vidicron, D-Box, United Leather, all sorts of stuff rep, used to come in the shop pretty often because we were close to his house, and we developed a relationship. And after about 2 years there, he hired me. He took me on my first sales call. He took me on the road for the first time. He took me to my first CEDIA. He taught me everything I'll ever know about sales. He was a genius and a mentor, and he had a hand in getting me every job I got after that for, a long time. So I'm really fortunate that I did have a wonderful mentor. I moved to California and worked for sales rep out there. Then I moved to New York City and got to work for Sapphire Marketing and the wonderful Marla Suttenberg.
One of my favorite people in the world. Really
Incomparable when we talk about great mentors. So I'm, again, extremely lucky. I've gotten to work for some of the best in the business and learn from them. And now I live in Ohio, and I work for Snap AV Control 4, and I'm the outside sales rep for them. So it's been a journey.
Yeah, and you've got. We mentioned Marla, right? And when you were not to mince, not to gloss over, but there you worked for Crestron, right? And now you work for Control Force. You've got a resume, right? You've got a legacy of control and automation systems. So how does that translate into connecting this into this murderous smart home, smart device, mystery?
Yeah, so that's what she does. So the main character in the book, her name is Cameron. She is the sales rep in New York City for the world's largest smart home technology company called Smart Tech. And so you go with her out on calls when she's meeting with dealers and when she's in her showroom meeting with end users. And so there's a lot of like lighthearted, humorous from real life jokes in there about, there's stories about end users and customers that were real. And she's got 2 coworkers, and they have phone calls every Friday to kind of, talk about who had the worst dealer meeting of that week. So there's some really humorous like jokes at the end users and the dealer's expense and our expense as well. But it's true to life from that perspective. But I don't solve mysteries on the weekends or anything. So.
No, but you write about them, right? And that's the thing. And you mentioned the fact that you have a history of reading a lot of books. When you look back at the book, and again, the book is called "There Is No Cloud," where do you think your influences are? When you read back at your book, where do you see similarities, or where do you think that you drew your influences from?
I think I drew that. I wanted it to be like lighthearted and funny and kind of one of those. It's a murder mystery, but it's not gruesome and gory. It's not one of those kind of like horror mystery books. So I wanted it to have that kind of tone and and I wanted it to have kind of my voice so that people. So it's not the next great American novel. Let's not mince words. This is not anything super fancy, but it's fun to read and it's easy to read. I think the hardest part about setting the tone and the voice for it was I got to some places where I wanted to explain the technology and I wanted people to understand, why she's taking the steps that she's taking. There's a time where she breaks into a suspect's house and she does it using, one of the pieces of technology in the book called a home tech hub, and she uses it to, kind of get in the house and how she does it. And when the beta readers, who are just normal people, not, AV industry people, were reading it, the notes they gave were like, no one wants to read stereo instructions. You've got to cut this down like a lot. So there were a lot of times, because I wanted to like over explain it, I guess, and kind of prove to people I knew what I was talking about. So there's places in the book where guys that have read it that are, techs, were like, this isn't how, and I'm like, I know that's not how it works, but no one cares. So we just have to get to that it does work, not, and then she plugged this into this, and then she, all that stuff. So that I think was the biggest challenge. So I wanted to make, I think what we do for a living is exceptionally cool. I think we work in an amazing industry, and I think it's really underrated. I think there's not a lot of people know what we do. So I wanted to make something that was funny and interesting and a cool mystery, but was also made what we do accessible to anyone could read it and understand.
Very good. Kat Wheeler, how do they get a hold of the book? There Is No Cloud. How do they connect with you?
So they can go to my website, which is katwheeler.com, and connect with me and find all the social places that I am. But to buy the book, it's only on Amazon. So it's on Amazon Kindle. You can get it in ebook version or hard copy. And you can search for There Is No Cloud or Kat Wheeler on Amazon, and it will come up.
All right, very good. Kat Wheeler, thank you so much. For AVNation, go by our website, avnation.tv. That's avnation.tv. You'll find interviews like this. We'll be talking with other incredible women. Actually, that's what you should do. You should go there and check out all the interviews we did for the month of March for International Women's Day. So all that and more at avnation.tv. That's avnation.tv.